month in advance, the people who filled the courtroom had been told by the press that they would see the man who was a greedy enemy of society, but they had come to see the man who had invented Rearden metal. The trial of Hank Rearden in Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged occurred on Reason's Harvest, the day following Thanksgiving. Check it. I'd like to tell you all to go thank yourself today. It's Reason's Harvest 2009. I'm hoping you're having a great time today, working hard, earning as much as you can, and spending quite conspicuously on the things that are values to you, or for other people who are values to you. I wanted to show you a few things that I've been buying in preparation for today and for, in fact, the entire weekend. But I also wanted to present some ideas for people who are on a limited budget. For example, there are a lot of students who like to celebrate Reason's Harvest, and there are some very simple and inexpensive ways to not only reward yourself, but to tell other people about the propriety of rewarding yourself after having earned what it is you're rewarding yourself with. Now, some people have said, well, shouldn't every day be a Reason's Harvest? Shouldn't you make as much as you can every day? And shouldn't you buy those things that make you happy? Absolutely, absolutely. But the fact of the matter is we don't do it enough. We don't do it daily. If you look back at the video I created in 2007 concerning Reason's Harvest, you'll see a little video there about Buy Nothing Day. Which is, I think, a video made by Adbusters. It's a sort of left-wing, anti-consumption, anti-man organization that had this commercial in which North America is seen as a pig, hogging the Earth's resources, or hogging the Earth's wealth, I think more appropriately is what they were trying to say, and somehow then polluting the Earth and, you know, returning to the Earth, all these things that, oh yeah, by the way, came from the Earth. And so why not on the day that it is most under attack, the greatest shopping day of the year in the United States, Black Friday, why not on that day make a moral statement about the propriety of that kind of purchasing, that kind of buying. That is the day, because it is the biggest buying day of the year, on which to celebrate the fruits of rational activity that has gone on year-round. And in fact, in many cases has gone on precisely so. That the product is available by Black Friday, because people know that a lot of those goods will be purchased for Christmas gifts or just for pleasure for oneself during the holiday season. So that's why Reason's Harvest, that's why it's celebrated as a holiday on one day. But everybody who says shouldn't we earn as much as we can and reward ourselves and take credit for our own earning, shouldn't we do that on a daily basis? Absolutely, absolutely. You know, Reason's Harvest allows you to have a little bit of extra fun by perhaps doing it more conspicuously than you would do it at other times. Buying perhaps a little bit of a gag gift, or something that you know will drive the collectivists crazy, the anti-rational people, the anti-man people absolutely mad. So, to that end, I'm going to start by just showing a couple of things. Some people on Facebook and etc. will already know that I've just made a big purchase, and just today on Reason's Harvest I got the first 2 deliveries of what I purchased. So let me just show you those first. Okay, so the first thing is comes in this box here, nicely packaged. You can probably tell what it is already. It's a mouse. But not just any mouse. This is a mouse designed for the new Apple, or rather Mac Pro that I've ordered, which is just maxed out. It's got just a terabyte of hard drive space within the machine. I've also got several terabytes as externals. It's got 8 megabytes of RAM. It's got 8 cores, 8 processors inside of it, because the purpose of it is to be productive. It's really a workhorse of a machine. I intend to be using it for work, for productivity, and hopefully for profit ultimately. Now, what's really neat about the mouse, I could have just stuck with the regular mouse that comes with the Mac system, but this is a fairly new mouse. You'll see it's got no wheel on the bottom, it's got the laser, but it's also got no buttons. And the reason it has no buttons is that it's got a surface that's, as I understand it, I haven't tried it yet, much like the surface of the iPhone. The iPhone has a surface that allows you to page, and I'll just show you my phone, this is the main page. If I want to get to the next page of buttons, I can just touch the screen and pull over just like I'm turning a page on a book. And that's what this mouse will do too. So it's using the iPhone type technology or the touch iPod technology on a mouse, and it will allow me, as I understand it, to scroll, to turn pages, and etc. just by running my finger across the surface. I can click anywhere on the surface, and that's like hitting my left mouse key. So that's really cool. I actually got that for free, and I'll give you the inside story on that. The system I purchased was slated to be a 5 to 7 day delivery. By adding this mouse, the magic mouse they call it, it was going to extend the delivery time for 2 to 3 weeks. If I got them separately, it wouldn't interfere with anything, and in fact I got the mouse before I got the machine. And because of that delay problem, they actually gave me the mouse for free. So I thought that was very generous, especially because I was using this machine, and I will be using this machine first to complete a movie that I hope will be controversial, but I think will be helpful to objectivists, to rational people around the world, and help shed some light on issues such as what's the relation, if any, between libertarianism, objectivism, what are the differences, what is a successful campaign for freedom, what is it comprised of, that kind of thing. And it will be coming out hopefully within the next few weeks. Now, the other thing that arrived today, and again it's a productivity tool, this is called Final Cut Studio, and it's a suite of different programs for the Mac Pro that I'm getting, and it includes an editor for video, a tool that will allow me to work with the colors in the video, correct the colors, or just actually change them entirely, sound adjustment and everything. It's literally Hollywood quality software, as is the machine. And in fact, if you go to the Apple website and you look at the example there, I think it was for the prior version of this, the Suite number 3 instead of Suite, or Suite 2 instead of Suite 3 for Final Cut Studio. You'll see an example there of the Coen brothers. Now that's still up there, but the Coen brothers making their movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And they used this software in the making of that movie. That was how they did the coloring of the movie and etc. So that's really interesting. It was what sort of clinched it for me, and it meets my needs, and I'm really excited about it. That was a major purchase for me, but not as major as what's coming. This was, I think, around $1,199 US. The mouse itself, well, it was free, but it normally costs about $65, and I think it's an excellent bargain. Now, maybe you're a student, or maybe you don't have a lot of money because maybe you're unemployed. That doesn't mean you're not rational. It doesn't mean you're not trying to be productive. And I have many friends who are, especially in this economy, either looking to change jobs or looking to find new jobs. So how do you, when you're down on your luck, or when you're just between jobs or what have you, or when you're a student and you're working, your productive work is training your own mind, molding your own mind, how do you celebrate Reason's Harvest? Well, if you're a student, for example, the work you do is training your mind. That is your work, and you probably are on a subsistence. If you were anything like me when you were in university, you weren't living high on the hog, and you certainly didn't have money to go out and buy, Final Cut Studio. So, although there's great deals for students, as I understand, the key thing, and this might sound really silly, but the key thing, I think, the biggest statement you can make, a pro-capitalist statement, a pro-reason statement, a pro-rights statement, is to conspicuously consume none other than a bottle of water. A purchased bottle of water cold. Now, what are the virtues of bottled water? Well, it can go anywhere you go. I suppose it can't go on a plane with some of the new rules, but it virtually can be taken anywhere. Its temperature is set. You purchased it out of someone's cooler, so it's already been cooled for you. That convenience is there for you. It's fresh, it's clean, it's got a lid. And in fact, if it's not, you can actually sue the person who gave you the impure substance. Not that I've ever heard of anybody being poisoned by bottled water. Unlike water that's available through the government-funded taps. We had a system here in Ontario that was compromised and killed, I think, several people, but certainly made many people ill with E. coli poisoning. So, but of course, the pressure is on from the left, and I'll tell you, this is an issue that's perhaps below the surface at present because of global warming and whatever other, socialized healthcare. These are all great ways of forcing people, scaring people into giving the government lots of money. I'm just going to open this and have a drink while I'm going. By the way, this one's called Fiji. If I'm not mistaken, I could be, but I believe this actually came from Fiji. So just imagine the fuel that had to be expended to transport this. Not only was the container made out of oil, but oil would have been burned in bringing it over here. The CO2 pumping into the air would have been amazing. And yet, I'm not frightened by it at all because I'm actually exhaling it and it's feeding plants and everything else. Just consider how politically incorrect this is. Okay? This is a large statement in many ways, a big statement. It says, A, it's my money. B, I'm putting into my body what I want to put into my body because it's my body. C, I love convenience and I deserve convenience, and there's nothing wrong with convenience. In fact, convenience is a value to me. I have something now that I need to consume or that I want to consume that's fresh, refreshing, bottled. I could have gotten it out of a tap, but it would have tasted probably relatively poor. And whatever anybody's about it, even if it's the most unhealthy stuff in the world, it's my choice. It's my body. It's my money. Someone peacefully and voluntarily chose to exchange money, take my money in exchange for this water, and that's exactly as it should be in a free society. So, bottled water, inexpensive. Any student can afford to buy at least one bottle of it. And to consume it in public. Now, had some other fun here today. These things are probably horrible for me. I'm not sure what they're full of, probably nitrates and God knows what. It's just basically dried meat. It's not even cold. But I'll tell you, it's tasty, and I've had many nights when the restaurants, the drive-thrus, and etc. are closed, at least in the area where I've been. But I'm stuck in the office working all night long, literally a 36-hour day. Eventually you need fuel. This stuff comes in handy. Meat, low carbohydrate. So if you're on a low carbohydrate diet, way to go. This actually comes in two flavors. There's one hot and one it's the mild one. And of course, these things are made out of cows, right? You have to slaughter a cow to get the meat. Horrible. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna drive Peter crazy. And those cows, they toot, they fart, they send stuff into the air that is going to destroy the temperature of the earth. It's going to send us into some kind of catastrophic, man-made catastrophic situation, which is of course complete nonsense. But how fun then to just drink your bottle of water, imported from Fiji, unnecessarily, because I just could have walked to the tap and poured some. But instead I had a boat come across a great distance, burning fuel, sending CO2 into the air. I had this container, which obviously I'm going to have to throw out later, and brutal. I think I'm running out of battery, so I'm just going to charge up for a sec. Hold on. Okay, we're rolling again. Now, if you look back, if you're an Ayn Rand fan, and I think most rational people tend to find her books eventually, if not find her books before they become rational. Another great book, I've just referred at the beginning of the video to Atlas Shrugged, but there was, of course, The Fountainhead, which came earlier. Now, in The Fountainhead, at least in the movie version, which I've listened to or read the Fountainhead book many times, but also I've watched the movie a few times, and I remember that at least in the speech in the movie, well, she also wrote the script for the movie, and I remember that he opens up his speech. Rourke, the hero of that book, opens up his speech in court by saying that Prometheus brought us fire, and he was probably burned at the stake for having done so by his fellow man. And so, there's I have a little story I'm going to tell you. Years and years ago, I went down to San Antonio with Mrs. McKeever, and we weren't married yet, but what a lovely town. Anyway, go if you ever go, if you ever can. And anyway, she was at a conference, and I decided I was going to walk down the streets. I was going to look for this boot company, believe it or not. And I can't remember the name of the company anymore. They used to be there. I think they moved to El Paso. Anyway, they still had a store there, and on the way to walking this long distance toward the store, I passed some gentlemen on the sidewalk there, and I think they might have been homeless, or at least they were enjoying living in the street. And one fella, he had a cigarette, and he says, "Got a match?" And I said, "No, sorry, I don't smoke." And he says, "What's that got to do with it?" "Carry flame, buddy, carry flame." And I realized, this guy probably, he may very well have been a vet. He may very well have been in a situation where you need fire to do things like boil water, to keep yourself warm, to any number of things. He doesn't necessarily even live in Texas most of the time. He might, for all I know, live in New York a lot of the time, where he would get very cold in the winter. So, if he was living on the street. So, that kind of made an impression on me. And I was also a scout when I was a kid. So I thought, it's always good to be prepared, as it were, as they say in the Scouts. And I became very interested in, what are the bare minimums that you need were all the power to go out, were the lights of New York to go out, or more likely, were you to be driving down a country road and have your car go out for whatever reason, out of fuel or an electrical problem or what have you. Now that's actually happened to me. In the place where I live, there are several places where I would drive where there are distant farmhouses quite separated by miles. And I once broke down, my car broke down on a cold January night, and I had not planned properly in terms of my clothing. I didn't even own a cell phone at the time. It was horrible. My car had slid off the road and it was just covered in snow, and I was really, really cold. So I had to find a farmhouse, and luckily I found someone home. Anyway, I've been more prepared ever since. And one of the things I've really enjoyed is finding different kinds of tools used in the process of making fire. So I thought I'd share a few of these as ideas, Promethean ideas. Now this is just a plain Bic lighter, and it's actually in a nice leather holder that actually one of my clients made this for me. It's very nice of her. Just a gift, a thank you gift. See some beads in the bottom there, really nice. And I think it's deer skin. Deer! And now this is actually a container for matches. And you can see here, you just turn this, the top sort of lifts up and creates an opening at the bottom that allows you to open it up. Now there's no matches in there right now. I've got lots of other fire starting stuff. And then there's a rubber top in here, so that when this is closed up again, it creates a seal. The matches remain dry even if they fall out of your pocket into a puddle, or even worse, into some shallow water. You can pick it up again. Now this next one's kind of cool. It's a key-shaped bar. I don't know if you can, I'll get some light on it. There we go. It's basically like a key, but this is a flint. And so you could put this on your keychain. It also comes with a lanyard, a small little, I don't know if it's a lanyard, string, and a striking agent. So I'm not going to strike it in here, I'm over a wooden table. But you could then start a fire. This thing could be on your keychain, very convenient. Now here is, in my view, the very best in fire starting. And in fact, if you watch the show Survivor, you'll see countless people being given one of these at some stage during the contest, and completely and utterly not knowing what the heck it is or how to use it. This thing, as I see it, is the best idea for fire starting. It comes with, you'll see this keychain thingy, but it also is automatically, it's just the nature of it is such that it's waterproof, that it's almost foolproof. So here's what it is. It's a bar of magnesium. This is the magnesium. So it's a metal, very soft metal. And then here is a piece of flint, sort of a cylinder of flint, that is glued or what have you to the magnesium. And what you do is you take a knife, or any sharp, you can take a key, all right, and you can scrape about a dime-sized circle, maybe about this high, of magnesium shavings. It's very easy to do with this thing. You just shave it off in a little pile on whatever it is you want to burn. And then you turn it around this way, use your same object to make a few sparks, and as soon as a spark hits those magnesium shavings, they will burn like the blazes, white hot, white hot. You could literally burn wet leaves with this flaming magnesium. And this thing, you can have it on your hip, you can go swimming with it, you can take it out, it'll still work. It's perfect. It's indispensable, and it's cheap. So, you want to be Prometheus? This is the stuff to go with. And it's a good way of making a statement. I don't know. I don't think it's politically incorrect, but it's certainly cool. And it's certainly fun. And that's what Reasons Harvest should be. Anyway, I hope you're having a great Reasons Harvest. And if you're not, go thank yourself.